What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Molly Rowland. We are live from ShePodcasts in Atlanta. I am representing Heartcast Media and Podcast Outfitters today, and I am sitting here with my new podcast friend. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Molly. I'm Becky Berry.
Becky Berry. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
well, again.
Nice to meet you too, right? Yeah, well, we've been geeking out on equipment.
Exactly.
Right?
How's your day going so far?
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, I just signed up to lead a session.
Nice.
Yeah,
Where's that going down?
Well, it was Podcast Atlanta's a meetup I'm in because I'm native. I'm here in Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
And I'm doing a little thing on how to bootstrap your podcast.
Nice.
Because I'm
awesome.
taking mine to the next level, which is why I'm talking to you.
Right.
For the equipment stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not how I started.
Yeah.
That's not
I
how
mean,
I
you got to start someplace,
well, the thing
right?
is, start before you lose your nerve.
Right. So you could talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, there's a moment, right? There's a moment. And if
Right.
you think I've got to have all these things, then that's just an obstacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems overwhelming and it seems like too much. And then, it's interesting too, because in the podcast world, we're expected to know so much. So,
Right.
if you were going to build a house, you would have a builder, you'd have a real estate agent, you'd have an electrician, you'd have a plumber. But for some reason, if you have a podcast, you're expected to be the planner, the interviewer, the editor, the engineer, and the marketer. And it's a little unfair to expect people to be good at so many things.
Right.
It's just not realistic.
Right.
And even if you are good at all those things, that's a heavy load to pull.
Well, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to have a podcast with the production qualities of an NPR podcast.
I couldn't
Particularly
agree
when
more.
you start.
I couldn't agree more. Audio really matters, but NPR spends I think I read they spend $60,000 an episode or something. Or
Really? Seriously? And daggum,
they have
sound good.
15 editors, and it's sound design, and
Yeah.
I mean, you could, to be fair, you could probably play an NPR podcast at Radio City Music Hall,
Probably.
and it would sound fantastic.
Yep.
But that's such an exception to the rule. 99.9% of the time, they're going to be in their car on earbuds. They're
Right.
not. Content
Right.
is not going to be.
That's where I listen to it.
Yeah, I mean.
I listen while I'm mowing the yard.
Oh, yeah. How do you pull that off?
Well, I got a 4-acre yard, so
The mower doesn't drown out.
Oh, well, use earbuds, and then I put silent things over them.
You're committed.
Well, I am, because listening to podcasts changed my life, so it was really a big deal.
Me too. So let's talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so I'm going to pitch a guy,
Okay.
but my for Seth Godin was on Hack the Entrepreneur when It's Your Turn, when that book came out of his. And he was on Hack the Entrepreneur, and I started listening. And all of a sudden I realized, and I'm 55 years old. I think I'm 55 when I'm listening to this. And I'm hearing all these entrepreneurs, and of course they're guys, but
Right.
they're talking about starting things and starting the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Well, in the 80s, I changed jobs every 6 months.
Right.
My entire life, people have rolled their eyes at me and going, "What's Becky doing
Right,
next?
what are you gonna-
What are you up
yeah.
to next?" Well, I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole life, and I didn't know
Right.
it. And I didn't know, forget that I didn't know it, I didn't know it was okay. I'm
Right.
55 years old. I'm a lawnmower in suburban Atlanta, Georgia, going, holy cow,
Right.
I'm okay.
Yeah. You're
And
more
I'm
than
not-
okay. You're
I'm not-
amazing.
And I'm ahead of my time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa. And then I listened to more, and I was listening to a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And then Gretchen Rubin. Boom.
Okay.
She was on Hack the Entrepreneur, and that was it. That's all she wrote.
Gretchen Rubin.
Yeah, happier.
I'll check that out.
and
Okay,
she's starting
yeah.
her own podcast network, and so am I. So I'm really excited.
Nice.
She's kind of my role model.
Yeah.
Her podcast started 6 or 8 months before ours did, Uniquely Brilliant.
Right.
This was my entry level drug there.
Right.
To having my own podcast. And I've just been following her.
Yeah.
And she's a real different voice from me.
Right.
But the drive and the understanding and the value she puts in the podcast is just exceptional. And now she has a network, And I'm walking one day, I go, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this too.
Yeah.
It's called a couple of names. I haven't decided. Cronecast Radio or the Cronecast Podcast Network. Do you know what a crone is?
No, what's crone?
I know, you just have that look.
Yeah.
So many people have that look. A crone is a wise woman. And it's a word, it's an ancient word.
Right.
And it used to mean like borderline holy woman, right?
Right.
But you can just picture what happened to that.
Right.
And most, if you Google it, it's going to be this wise and old woman. No.
Right.
This is a crumb.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So my new podcast is called She's Not Done Yet. Conversations with Women Over 50.
I love
Crohn's, right?
I love
I'm bringing
it.
that voice here, and you know who wants to hear it?
Huh.
It's the best thing. I get tears. 30-year-olds want to hear that. That's who comes to me.
Yeah.
30 to 40-year-old women, they're like, Becky. I'm like, hey, I got something for you.
Yeah.
I've got women who are doing things, and some of them are spectacular, and some of them are things.
Right.
But those are all your choices.
Well, and I think it's so, important because, it's tough being a woman out here because it's hard to have like allies, and I think things are changing.
Yeah.
But it's nice. Like I have it's one client, 7 Sisters Speak, and their tagline is "We're sisters and we're sisters," and they're 7 women, all biological sisters from the same parents.
Oh my God.
And there's like a 30-year gap between them.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so awesome just to hear them talk, because, like the younger one's on Tinder and the older one's married for 40 years. I mean, there's like a real and it is just so cool to hear that like intergenerational conversation between women, and they're just so full of love for one another. And it's just so cool. And I think like they have a lot of young listeners too, because as a woman, like, you might not always get it from your mom, or maybe you don't have a mom. Maybe your mom's passed away. Like, there's so many different reasons that, and so it's just nice to have input from older women who have gone through it and are seemingly okay.
Right. And I get to talk to whoever I want to.
Right.
People go, can I be on your podcast? I look at them, I'm like, in about 20 years.
Right.
Come back to me when you're 50, sugar, because you're great. But come listen to my podcast so you can get that inspiration, aspiration, all those things.
Yeah, for sure. So now is Heartcast going to be, is that only women over 50? Is that the network?
Thinking about it. I'm pretty sure, because I already have like 5 targeted, and 2 are mine, because Uniquely Brilliant, we're both over 50. And then I started out with a host on She's Not Done Yet, and we decided to go in a different direction.
Right.
But I want her to have her own podcast because she has this great voice, point of view. She's been in tech. She's been working for a long time. She's done that corporate thing.
Totally.
So there's a great voice there. So I don't know. I'm a serial entrepreneur, man. Every 3 years, I got to add something.
Yeah.
I got to add something in.
Yeah.
No, and I'm all about that voice.
I can dig it. I'm the same way, so I totally respect that.
Right.
It's like I've owned a multimedia company for 20 years, and I mean, 160 artists in the collective. You know what I mean? Like we did so much, and people would still say, "So what's your real job?"
Y'all, for real. This is a big old job.
Yeah.
What do you think? I waved my magic wand.
Right. Like there's 1,200 people at this event. Like that's not a job. Like come on, So yeah, I mean it's interesting, right? So I get it. I
would wager that if you were a man, nobody would ask you that question.
No, and it's funny. My mom is always like kind of giving me a hard time, but she just wants me to have more stability, right? So it's not that she doesn't think that, or in the past, I should say, when I was younger, she always wanted me to have. She's like, I don't know how you do it, but I don't know how I couldn't do it.
That's what I say.
I don't know what
I also have lots of support from my girlfriends and stuff, but I also come from a risk-taking kind of family.
That's awesome.
I mean, people like risk. I'm like, I can't spell it.
Yeah.
I just don't even feel it.
Right. Yeah, no, I can dig it because I'm kind of the same way.
Let's go. I'm
kind of the same way. I'm like almost 2 different people. Like when it comes to personal, I get rejected. I'm hurt. I'm like, I'm never dating again, right? There's all these like absolutes and like my feelings are exposed. But when it comes to business, I have no muscle memory for failure. I mean, I can lose my whole ass on an event and go to bed thinking,
I can't wait for the next one.
I don't know about this. And then the next morning I wake up and my phone rings and someone's like, I got a warehouse. And I'm like, let's do this. And it's like I immediately forgot about whatever didn't work. Like I do the post-mortem so I know how to fix it and make it better for the next one. But I don't dwell on the failures or the things that didn't work. I just double down on the things that did.
So does this happen for you like me? Molly, once I've done something, I forget I've done it. Somebody will come to me and well, Becky, you did this and you did. I went, I did.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm like, Oh, yeah, I did. But I've done like 400 things since then.
Exactly.
Right?
People say I have a terrible memory too, and people will say a joke, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. And they're like, you said it 3 years ago. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're paying attention. I'm hilarious, by the way. Like,
right?
Thanks for keeping track.
I love it.
That's awesome. So I think the Cronecast thing is amazing, and I don't know, like, it's an interesting conversation to have, but I feel like niche markets are not a bad thing. Like, you know?
I mean, we all know Marketing 101.
Right.
The smaller your niche.
Right.
I'm a career coach.
Right.
And can I tell you, when I talk to my clients, you have to niche down.
Yeah.
And we're going to present you as one thing. Everything else is a gift.
Exactly.
Because people want to hire you for that one thing. Well, they want to listen to me for that one thing.
Right.
They want to come to you for that one thing that you have.
Right.
You know, and that's all it is. Because there's so many choices.
Yeah.
You got to have somewhere to hang it.
Exactly.
Right. And I'm like, y'all, it's just a peg in the wall.
Right.
That grabs their interest. They're going to come in, they're going to listen to you, they're going to read your, whatever they're going to do.
Right.
But they have that, they know where to put you.
Yeah.
Because don't you have there's just so much stuff out there that I don't know where to hang it.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
as old as I am, I got lots of places to hang it. But, but I still get, that's what overwhelm is.
Yeah.
It's not, it's that it's so much stuff you can't organize it.
Right. Yeah, I can relate to that. My last company, One Love Massive, we did too much. I did too many things, and people love us, but if you ask the average person what we did, they wouldn't be able to answer you.
Right.
Because we did too many things, and so we were like a master of none, you know?
Yeah.
And I said yes to everything. And so with Heartcast Media, I learned I do 3 things, I do them very well, and if you need something outside of that, I can recommend somebody.
Well, I'm a career coach for women. Right now, 1/3 of my clients are men. You know what? You know, they just like my voice.
Right.
Because, the niche is the brand.
Right.
Right? And I have a voice, and this is my voice. Y'all, if you look me up, I'm Becky Berry coach everywhere on the planet Earth, literally.
Right.
If you look me up, even if you had never heard this, and you meet me in person, you're like, oh, that is her.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, it's a great filter.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like my voice, it's okay. It doesn't offend me. But you just saved yourself a lot of time, and I just saved myself a lot of time because it's just not going to work. And that's all the niche is.
Yeah.
But people come to me for all kinds. Guys come to me.
Right.
20-year-olds come to me. I got a 70-year-old client.
That's amazing.
It's just...
I mean, that makes sense. You're very approachable. You're very knowledgeable. Clearly, you have a lot of wisdom to impart. You have a lot of energy.
I owned a software company in the 80s.
Wow.
I've been doing tech startups since the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah. People go, we've been doing this for 10 years. I'm like, 30.
Yeah. Which is a really big deal. Like, tech was a big deal 30 years ago.
Why do I love tech, Molly? It changes every day. It meets my need for a new, bright, shiny object.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I've done a lot of stuff.
Me, too.
This is my 8th career. This is my 8th career.
It's so funny because, same with me. Like, I'm early childhood education 1 and 2 certified.
No. Special ed teacher.
Yes. Yeah. I worked for Toyota. I was in real estate finance for 13 years.
Wait, we must have been separated.
Maybe so. Well, it has been such a pleasure to talk to you and getting to, chat with you over the course of the last couple days, and I hope I can be helpful.
You already have. My gosh, right back at you. You have been so helpful.
Amazing.
I'm just, I geek out on tech anyway, and I like stuff.
Yeah.
I like tools. I like tools. So you really, really helped me cut through some of that craziness. And thanks. I love it to talk to you now. Know even more about you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I figured this would be a great opportunity for me to really connect with some other women, and I have a lot of followers and stuff that I can share this with and hype your content, and we all win, right? Like all worthy boats rise with the tide. So
Amen.
I used to say all botes rise with the tide.
All worthy boats.
And then my friend said all worthy boats because some boats got holes in them, and that's a very accurate statement. So all worthy boats. But I got to say, I've met so many amazing women. It's been nothing but a pleasure to be here, even though I haven't even been able to venture out of this 10 by 10 space.
I know, every time I walk by here, you're right here. You're the only booth that's always with the same person in it.
And it's crazy because I'm alone this weekend. I brought everything down, I set everything up myself, which is so empowering because I too love toys and I love all this stuff and making it happen. So it's been fun for me. But thank you so much, Becky.
Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, and then remind people one more time where they can listen to your podcast and the name so they can go check you out.
So my podcast is Uniquely Brilliant. It's on iTunes, it's on Google Play, and it's on SoundCloud.
Okay,
Coming
amazing.
soon. She's not done yet.
Gotcha.
And you can find me anywhere at Becky Berry Coach.
There you go. So you heard it, folks. Make sure you like Becky Berry Coach, follow her, send her a message. Great conversation, a woman with a lot of information to share with the world. And I can't wait to see what's next. And I think the Cronecast thing, I'm certainly no expert here, but my instinct is to double down on that over 50, because women over 50 also need a place to feel welcomed and safe and comfortable. And so you could have all of them on your network and let the other networks have everybody else. That's my intuitive advice.
Oh, thank you. See, more value.
There you go.
You're the value woman.
Hey, man. You heard it here, folks. Value woman. I'm competing for Podcast Queen and Value Woman. I like both of them. So thank you again, Becky. We will see you again real soon.
Thanks.
Thanks.